The evening was quiet, the only sounds being the occasional distant bark of a dog or the rustling of leaves. Under the blanket of night, a star streaked across the sky, not just any celestial body, but a vessel carrying a soul from another world. Her name was Elara. Hurtling through the cosmos, her ship was crippled, a casualty of a cosmic storm that had ripped through her path, leaving her no choice but to crash land on the nearest habitable planet, Earth. As the ship breached the atmosphere, the intense heat of re-entry turned the surrounding air into a blazing inferno. Elara braced herself, her heart pounding in her ears like thunder. The controls were unresponsive. All she could do was hold on as the force of descent pressed her into her seat. The crash was brutal. Metal screeched against the earth, tearing through the soil of a vast, dark forest. Trees snapped like twigs, and the ground trembled. When everything finally came to a standstill, silence enveloped the wreckage. Smoke billowed from the remnants of what was once a sleek craft, now a mangled heap of metal. Crawling from the debris, Elara staggered out into the cool night air. Her body ached with every movement, but the urgency of survival propelled her forward. She was alone on a foreign planet, her ship irreparably damaged. Her first sight was the moon, a familiar sight, but it was different here, bigger, brighter, casting a silver glow that painted the world in hues of ghostly white. She looked around, her senses on high alert. The forest seemed to watch her, ancient trees whispering secrets in the wind. Elara's survival depended on finding a power source. Her kind did not consume food as humans did, they absorbed energy directly, in its pure form. On her planet, this was a simple task, but here, she was uncertain. As she ventured deeper into the woods, her ears caught the faint sound of a heartbeat. Slow, steady, unmistakable. It was coming from nearby. Driven by desperation, she followed the sound until she came upon a clearing. There, under the moonlight, lay a young man. He was unconscious, his breathing shallow. A motorcycle lay on its side a few feet away, its front wheel still spinning slowly. An accident, it seemed. Elara approached cautiously, her mind racing. She knelt beside him, her hand hovering over his chest. The energy she needed pulsated beneath his skin, a rhythmic flow of life that called to her. It was either take this stranger's energy and survive or perish on this alien world. Tears welled up in her eyes as she touched his forehead. Her kind revered life. Taking it in such a manner was against her every instinct. But as the cold of the night seeped into her bones, her resolve hardened. "I am sorry," she whispered, not sure if he could hear her or if he would ever understand. "I need your strength to survive. Forgive me." Her touch glowed with a soft light, and slowly, the man's energy began to flow into her. His life force, warm and vibrant, filled her with a mix of guilt and vital strength. The process was gentle, designed not to harm, but to borrow what she needed. Elara felt the wounds on her body begin to heal, her strength returning. She stood, looking down at the young man. He was pale but alive. Elara knew she had taken no more than necessary, just enough to stabilize her condition. Now she needed to find a way to repay this debt, to heal him as he had healed her. As the first hints of dawn began to touch the horizon, Elara made a vow. She would protect this human, help him recover, and somehow make amends for the energy she had taken. Her journey on Earth had just begun, and it was intertwined with that of the stranger who now breathed more softly because of her. In the quiet forest, under the watchful gaze of the stars, a new chapter of her life started, filled with uncertainty, but also an unexpected hope. She was alone, far from home, but she was no longer lost. She had a purpose, and it lay right beside her, in the form of a human who had unwittingly saved her life. As Elara stood in the dim light of dawn, she watched over the human who lay still, breathing steadily under the canopy of the ancient trees. The forest around them was waking up. Birds chirped tentatively, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. This world, so new and unfamiliar, was daunting, yet there was an undeniable beauty in its rawness that she couldn't ignore. The man stirred, his brows furrowing as he slowly regained consciousness. His eyes fluttered open, revealing deep brown irises that reflected his confusion and fear upon seeing her. He tried to sit up, his hand instinctively reaching for his head, a grimace crossing his face. Who are you? His voice was hoarse, his gaze wary as he took in her strange appearance. My name is Alara, she answered, her voice soft but firm. You were injured. I helped stabilize you. She chose her words carefully, aware of how alien she must appear to him. The man looked around, trying to piece together his situation. What happened to me? And what did you do to me? There was an edge of suspicion in his voice, understandable given the circumstances. You had an accident, Alara explained. I found you unconscious. I am not from your world, and I needed energy to survive. I borrowed some from you. I mean you no harm. His eyes narrowed, absorbing her confession. After a tense moment, he sighed and looked away. I guess I should thank you then, for not leaving me here or worse. Alara sensed his discomfort and the effort it took for him to grapple with the reality of her words. She remained silent, giving him space to process his thoughts. Finally, he spoke again. I'm Nathan, he said, extending a shaky hand in a gesture of cautious friendship. She took his hand, her own touch gentle. I am grateful, Nathan. As they sat in silence, Alara considered her next move. She needed more energy to fully repair her ship, yet she would not, harm another soul. She had to find another way. Do you know where we can find a power source? Something strong, sustainable, she asked, hoping her direct approach would yield results. Nathan frowned, thinking. There's a power plant not too far from here. But what do you need it for? To repair my ship. I cannot stay on your planet forever. I need to return home. Understanding dawned on Nathan's face, mixed with a trace of awe. So, you're really an alien? He murmured, almost to himself. Like, from outer space? Alara nodded. Yes, from beyond your solar system. The sun rose higher, casting golden beams through the trees, illuminating the forest in a warm light. Nathan stood, testing his balance, and looked at Alara with a new resolve. Let's get you to that power plant then. But we need to be careful. It's guarded and well, not exactly public-friendly. As they set off through the forest, Nathan led the way, limping slightly. Alara stayed close, her senses alert to the sounds and scents of Earth. As they walked, Nathan began to ask questions about her world, her people, and her travels through the stars. Alara shared stories of distant galaxies and cosmic phenomena, each tale bridging the gap between them. The forest gradually gave way to the outskirts of a town. They kept to the shadows, avoiding the few early morning joggers and dog walkers. Nathan's knowledge of the area proved invaluable as he navigated them through quieter streets, moving ever closer to their destination. Alara marveled at the complexity of human life on Earth, the houses nestled together, the cars moving in streams, the colorful gardens. Everything was so vibrant, so full of life and yet so fragile in the vast expanse of the universe. Their journey was fraught with challenges, not least of which was the need to remain unseen. Alara was aware of the anomaly she presented, her appearance not easily explainable. Nathan, for his part, grew increasingly protective of her, his initial wariness replaced by a fierce determination to help her. As they neared the power plant, the real test began. It stood like a fortress, its high fences topped with barbed wire, and security cameras dotting the perimeter. Nathan paused, his gaze calculating. We need a plan, he said quietly, his eyes scanning for any weakness in their formidable obstacle. Alara nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. Together, they crouched in the underbrush, plotting their next steps under the watchful eye of the rising sun. Their alliance, born of circumstance, was solidifying with each passing moment, driven by a mutual goal that was as dangerous as it was necessary. As Nathan and Alara huddled in the underbrush, the morning light began to accentuate the formidable barriers of the power plant. The structure loomed ahead, a monolith of human industry guarded with all the trappings of modern security. They observed the routines of the guards, noting the changing of shifts and the roving patrols that intermittently swept the area with watchful eyes. Alara's alien intellect quickly processed the patterns, finding predictability in the movements that Nathan found reassuring yet baffling. How can you decipher their routines so quickly? He whispered, his admiration tinged with incredulity. "It's not so different from tactical training in my world," Ilara replied, her voice low and steady. "Observation and pattern recognition are universal skills." Armed with this knowledge, they crafted a plan. Nathan would create a diversion at the western fence, drawing the guards away from the northeastern entry point which Ilara identified as the weakest link in the security perimeter. She had spotted a blind spot in the camera coverage there, a small but exploitable oversight. Using a handful of rocks and his knowledge of the local environment, Nathan moved into position. His heart pounded with a mix of adrenaline and fear, not just for himself but for Ilara as well. He threw the rocks in a calculated arc, the sounds echoing like distant gunfire, and immediately, the predictable response followed as guards hurried towards the disturbance. Meanwhile, Ilara slipped through the shadows, her movements almost ethereal. Reaching the fence, she extracted a small device from her attire, a compact, metallic disc that emitted a low-frequency pulse. The technology was alien, designed to temporarily disable electronic sensors. She placed it against the fence, and the immediate area fell dark on the security monitors, unnoticed by the preoccupied guards. She climbed the fence with ease, her body lithe and capable, then dropped silently on the other side. Her heart was a calm tide, contrasting sharply with Nathan's, which raced like a drumbeat in his ears as he watched from his hidden vantage point, ready to signal her if the diversion faltered. Inside the compound, Ilara navigated through the network of buildings and conduits with a clear goal. The main control room housed the energy source she needed, not just electricity, but the raw, powerful currents that could recharge her ship's depleted cores. Reaching the control room was simpler than she anticipated. The door was unlocked, a rare lapse in protocol. Inside, the hum of machinery and the blinking lights of consoles painted a scene of controlled chaos, a symphony of human achievement that she admired even as she prepared to harness it for her needs. She approached the central console, her fingers dancing over the interface with practiced ease. Ilara initiated a transfer sequence, siphoning the needed energy into a portable containment unit she had crafted from the remnants of her ship. The device hummed to life, glowing with a pulsating blue light as it filled with power. Outside, Nathan's signal, a brief flash of light from his handheld mirror, told her that it was time to leave. The guards were returning, their suspicions raised but not yet pinpointed to the breach. Ilara met Nathan back at their initial rendezvous point, her containment unit safely hidden under her cloak. "Did you get what you needed?" he asked, his voice a mix of concern and hope. "Yes, thanks to your help," she affirmed, her eyes reflecting the success of their mission but also the dawning realization of the implications of her actions. Together, they retreated into the forest, their steps quick but silent. As they put distance between themselves and the power plant, Ilara pondered the complexity of human technology and spirit. It was both formidable and distinctly vulnerable, a paradox she found profoundly intriguing. Nathan looked over at Ilara, seeing her not just as the alien she was, but as a comrade who had shown him a universe beyond his own. "What now?" he asked, his words heavy with the weight of their shared experiences. "Now," Ilara replied, "we repair my ship. And then I find a way to repay your world for the hospitality and the energy it has unwittingly provided." Their pact was sealed not just by the adventure they had shared but by a newfound respect that transcended worlds. As they walked back through the awakening forest, their path lit by the first rays of the sun, the future was uncertain, yet it brimmed with potential for friendship, understanding, and perhaps even interstellar alliance. Under the canopy of the forest, the distant hum of the city faded, replaced by the natural symphony of wildlife. Ilara and Nathan, with the containment unit in tow, reached the secluded area where her ship lay hidden, covered by dense foliage and the remnants of a hastily constructed camouflage. The ship, a sleek design with smooth curves and an almost organic architecture, seemed incongruous against the wild backdrop of Earth's nature. It was a relic of advanced technology, lying dormant in the dirt and leaves. Ilara approached the vessel, her movements reflecting a mix of relief and urgency. She inserted the containment unit into the ship's external port. The ship came to life with a series of low hums and soft whirs, its systems reawakening after the unexpected dormancy. Lights along the vessel's surface flickered on, illuminating the area with a soft, otherworldly glow. Is it always like this? Nathan asked, his voice low in awe as he watched the ship respond to Ilara's manipulations. Only in emergencies, Ilara responded, her attention focused on a handheld device that displayed a myriad of alien symbols and diagnostics. Normally it's much smoother, less dramatic. As the ship's systems came online, diagnostics ran automatically, projecting holographic displays into the air. Ilara swiped through the holograms with practiced ease, checking for structural integrity, navigation, and life support systems. Nathan observed, fascinated by the alien technology but also by Ilara's proficiency. What does it say? Can you actually fly this thing back home now? Some systems are still compromised. I need to run repairs, which could take time, Ilara explained, her tone mixed with frustration and determination. But yes, eventually, I'll be able to return. She led Nathan into the ship, where the interior was a stark contrast to the primitive wilderness outside. The cockpit was a blend of functionality and elegance, with contours that seemed molded to fit its occupant perfectly. Every surface was designed not just for aesthetic appeal but for practical use, with panels and screens providing constant feedback about the ship's status. As Ilara worked, Nathan couldn't help but marvel at how seamlessly she interacted with her technology. It was clear that this was more than just a machine to her. It was a companion, a lifeline to the vast universe beyond Earth. Can I help with anything? Nathan asked, eager to be useful. Ilara paused, considering his offer. Actually, I need to recalibrate the energy distribution panels. They're manual, believe it or not. I'll show you what to do. She guided him through the process, teaching him how to adjust the panels to help distribute the absorbed energy more evenly throughout the ship's systems. The task was meticulous and required precision, but Nathan handled it with an attentiveness that impressed Ilara. As they worked together, the boundaries between them, alien and human, seemed to blur. They were two beings, connected by a shared goal and a mutual respect that grew with every passing moment. After several hours, Ilara stepped back from the console, her expression one of cautious optimism. That should do it. The ship is stable enough for now. I can't thank you enough, Nathan. Nathan shrugged, a small smile playing on his lips. I'm just glad I could help. Not every day you get to fix a spaceship. Ilara smiled back, her eyes reflecting a mix of emotions. Gratitude, respect, and a hint of sadness at the inevitable goodbye that loomed ahead. Yet, there was more to be done, more preparations before her departure. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the trees, the ship's exterior panels glowed softly in response, a sign that it was slowly regaining its full capabilities. The two of them exited the ship, standing in the fading light, neither wanting to address the looming departure. For now, they were just two figures against the vast, unfathomable tapestry of the universe, their stories intertwined by chance and by choice, facing whatever lay ahead together. The twilight deepened around them, the sky painted in strokes of lavender and deep blue. As the stars began to punctuate the heavens, their light seemed to echo the subtle glow emanating from Ilara's ship. Silence stretched between Nathan and Ilara, filled with the unspoken acknowledgement of their fleeting partnership. Ilara broke the silence first. The ship will need more time to fully integrate the repairs and recalibrate its systems for space travel. It's more than just technical, it's adapting to the Earth's environmental quirks. She spoke with a blend of admiration and frustration towards her vessel, as though it were a stubborn but beloved pet. Nathan leaned against a tree, his gaze fixed on the ship. So, what happens next? When you leave, I mean? His voice was tinged with a mixture of curiosity and an undertone of sadness. Ilara turned to face him, her expression solemn. I transmit data back to my planet. I tell them about Earth, about humanity. It's valuable for us to learn about new civilizations. It can change perspectives, policies, even destinies. And what will they think of us? Will it be safe for Earth, I mean? Nathan's concern was palpable, his brow furrowed under the weight of potential consequences. Ilara considered his question carefully. My people are peaceful, curious. We seek knowledge, not conquest. But the universe is vast, Nathan, and not all who wander it share the same principles. Nathan's eyes darkened with thought. Maybe, before you go, we can set up some kind of safeguard, something to make sure this connection remains a positive one? He was reaching, hoping to extend their impact beyond her departure. That's a thoughtful idea, Ilara responded, touched by his foresight. We could set up a monitoring beacon, one that only sends data, non-intrusive but informative. It could help both our worlds understand each other better. The idea seemed to ease some of Nathan's tension. He nodded, feeling a part of something greater than himself, a link in a chain stretching across the stars. As they worked together to set up the beacon, Ilara taught Nathan about her technology, explaining the principles of non-invasive observation, the importance of unbiased data collection, and the ethics of interstellar communication. The beacon itself was a small, unobtrusive device, yet it represented a bridge between worlds, a silent watcher and witness to the ongoing lives of Earth's inhabitants. They placed the beacon in a clearing, where it had a clear view of the sky. It would remain hidden from casual observation but was capable of transmitting vast amounts of data through quantum-entangled particles, ensuring instant communication across the void of space. As they activated the device, Ilara looked at Nathan. This beacon isn't just a gift of knowledge to my people, it's also a promise to yours. A promise that contact, if it continues, will be approached with respect and caution. Nathan watched the beacon blink to life, its light steady and reassuring. I guess this is it, then. You'll be leaving soon. Yes, the ship is nearly ready. My time here is ending. Ilara's voice held a note of melancholy. She had grown fond of Earth, of its vibrant life and complex emotions, and of Nathan, whose kindness had turned a desperate situation into an unexpected alliance. The night was fully upon them now, the darkness complete except for the stars and the gentle illumination from the ship. They walked back in silence, each lost in their thoughts, their steps slow, reluctant. Standing beside her ship, Ilara turned to Nathan. I never expected to find a friend so far from home. You've changed what this mission meant to me. Not just survival, but something much richer. Nathan smiled, his eyes reflecting the starlight. You've given me a glimpse of the universe, Ilara. That's more than I ever dreamed of. I just hope, he trailed off, unsure. You hope what? Ilara prompted gently. I hope this isn't the last time our paths cross, he finished, his voice soft but fervent. Ilara reached out, placing her hand on his shoulder, her touch light but full of warmth. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, threads often intertwine in unexpected ways. Who's to say what the future holds? With those parting words, Ilara stepped into her ship, the door sealing with a soft hiss. Nathan stood back, watching as the vessel began to hum with energy, its lights brightening. The ship lifted off the ground silently, gracefully, ascending into the night sky until it became indistinguishable from the stars above. Nathan remained in the clearing, the beacon beside him a silent testament to the encounter that had bridged two vastly different worlds. He looked up at the stars, feeling both smaller and larger than he had before, a part of something infinite, where the possible stretched beyond the horizons of Earth, into the deep, uncharted spaces between stars. The night sky reclaimed its calm as the last echo of Ilara's departure faded into silence. Nathan stood alone, the cool air of the forest whispering around him, the trees standing like silent sentinels. He felt a profound sense of solitude, but also a spark of something new, an awareness that stretched beyond the confines of his previously earthbound existence. Time passed, marked only by the natural rhythms of the earth. Nathan visited the beacon often, drawn by a mixture of longing and responsibility. He would sit by it for hours, his mind wandering the cosmic paths Ilara might be traveling. Each visit reinforced the bond he felt not just to her but to the vast universe they had briefly shared. Meanwhile, the beacon functioned silently, diligently collecting data. It monitored environmental changes, recorded atmospheric anomalies, and captured the subtle shifts in the planet's biosphere. It was a one-way stream of information until, one day, it wasn't. Nathan was there as usual, sitting with his back against a tree, when the beacon chirped, a soft, unfamiliar sound. He stood abruptly, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The beacon's light pattern had changed, pulsing gently. It was receiving a transmission, a signal sent across the unfathomable distance from Ilara's world. He approached the device, hands trembling as he activated the interface. The screen flickered to life, displaying alien script initially, then adjusting to English, a courtesy undoubtedly programmed by Ilara before her departure. The message was concise: observation successful. Initiate dialogue sequence? Y/N. Nathan's fingers hesitated over the controls. This was what they had prepared for, an opportunity for deeper connection, yet the weight of it felt immense. Finally, he pressed Y. The beacon whirred, its lights shifting in color as it established a deeper communication link. Then, another message appeared: dialogue established. Ilara transmitting. A new screen opened, showing Ilara not as she was when she left, but as a projection, her image composed of the light emitted by the beacon. She looked the same, yet the distance was palpable. "Hello, Nathan." Her voice, synthesized but unmistakably hers, filled the air. "I've shared data about Earth with my people. Your world has been a subject of great interest and admiration." Nathan smiled, a wave of relief washing over him. "It's good to see you even like this. How are things on your side?" "Progressive," she responded. "The data you've helped collect is invaluable. It has paved the way for a proposed ambassadorial mission to Earth, under the aegis of peaceful exploration and cultural exchange." The news was monumental, thrilling yet daunting. Nathan pondered the implications, his mind racing. When will this happen? Preparations are underway. It could be months, perhaps a year. We move cautiously, respecting the natural order of your world. Their conversation continued, each exchange weaving a more intricate tapestry of shared understanding and mutual curiosity. Ilara explained her society's philosophy of cosmic symbiosis, the belief that all cosmic entities share a bond that must be nurtured and respected. Nathan listened, fascinated and increasingly invested in the potential of what this growing relationship might mean for Earth. He spoke of his own hopes and concerns, his words painting a picture of a world teeming with life, beauty, and complexity, yet also fraught with challenges and divisions. As the communication session drew to a close, Ilara's image flickered gently. "Keep this channel open," she said. "This dialogue has only just begun. We have much to learn from each other." "I will," Nathan promised, a sense of duty swelling in his chest. The projection faded, leaving Nathan in the twilight calm of the forest. The beacon continued to pulse softly, a heart beating in the quiet, a symbol of the ongoing connection between two vastly different worlds. As he walked back to his life, the regularity of his steps on the forest floor grounded him, yet his mind roamed free, envisioning the future dialogues, the exchange of ideas, and the potential for a shared future that might one day extend from the roots of Earth to the farthest reaches of the stars. Months rolled into each other as the Earth continued its orbit, the seasons painting the landscape with their respective hues. Nathan's routine visits to the beacon became a cornerstone of his life, each session expanding his understanding of the cosmos and deepening his connection with Ilara's world. He became a student of the universe, his curiosity unbounded, driven by the snippets of alien culture and science that Ilara shared. The beacon had become more than a communication device. It was a portal, a gateway that brought the cosmos to his doorstep. News of the ambassadorial missions stirred the local community as Nathan shared the purpose of the beacon. Skepticism mingled with fascination among his neighbors, the local media picking up on the story, casting their own lights and shadows over the implications of such an interstellar relationship. In the quiet of one particularly starry night, the beacon emitted a sequence of pulses that differed from the usual communication patterns. Ilara's projection appeared once again, her form stabilizing into the crisp image that Nathan had grown accustomed to. "We are close now," she announced, her voice carrying a hint of excitement that transcended the digital divide. "The ambassadorial delegation is preparing to enter your solar system. We have taken every precaution to ensure that this first official contact will be unobtrusive and beneficial." Nathan nodded, his heart racing with anticipation. "How can we prepare on our end?" he asked, mindful of the magnitude of the event. "Continue to foster understanding among your people. The delegation will need guides, interpreters not just of language but of culture and emotion. Your role will be crucial, Ilara explained. Nathan felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. I'll do whatever is necessary, he assured her, his commitment unwavering. The preparations were intense. Nathan worked with local leaders, scientists, and even diplomats who started to take an interest. Seminars were held, discussions fostering a nascent but growing awareness of the upcoming cosmic rendezvous. Nathan found himself at the center of these efforts, his once solitary visits to the beacon now surrounded by a team of eager and sometimes bewildered experts. As the expected day of arrival approached, the world's eyes turned skyward. Telescopes, both professional and amateur, were trained on the stars, waiting for a sign. The media broadcasted updates, speculations abounding about what the arrival would mean for Earth. Nathan, however, focused on the personal, on Ilara and the bridge they had built between their worlds. Finally, the night arrived. A subtle shift in the starlight, a pattern unrecognized by human eyes but clear as day to the beacon, signaled their approach. Nathan stood among a gathered crowd of locals and media, his eyes also on the sky but his mind connected to the beacon, which transmitted real-time updates. The delegation's ship was unlike any human-made object. It approached Earth not with the roar of rockets but with the silence of the cosmos, its presence announced by a gentle parting of the night sky's curtain. As it entered the Earth's atmosphere, the ship reflected the sun's light, a new star born from the union of distant civilizations. Ilara's voice came through the beacon, clear and strong. "We are here, Nathan. Thanks to you, this meeting of worlds holds promise." Nathan watched, his emotions a complex tapestry of joy, anxiety, and hope. As the ship descended, a quiet fell over the crowd, the magnitude of the moment rendering speech inadequate. The ship landed gracefully in the designated area, a field not far from the beacon. The door opened, and the delegation stepped out, beings of various forms and sizes, each reflecting the diversity of Ilara's world. Ilara was among them, her figure stepping forward into the Earth's atmosphere, her eyes searching for and finding Nathan. Their reunion was quiet amidst the chaos of cameras and questions, a simple exchange of smiles that spoke volumes. As the delegation was greeted formally by Earth's representatives, Nathan and Ilara stood side by side, their past trials a foundation for this new chapter. As the initial greetings turned into deep discussions, Nathan realized that this event was not an ending but a beginning. A beginning of understanding, of sharing, and potentially, of universal kinship. The threads of their stories, once isolated, now woven together, promised a future where the sky was not a limit but a canvas, vast and awaiting the strokes of those brave enough to paint it. As the Earth slowly rotated beneath a starlit sky, the newly arrived delegation from Ilara's world settled into their temporary habitat, an architectural marvel of bioadaptive structures that blended seamlessly with the natural environment. The habitat was designed not only to sustain the alien visitors but also to minimize the ecological footprint on Earth, a gesture of respect and one of the many technological marvels they shared. Nathan, alongside a select group of Earth's ambassadors, was granted access to the habitat. His role as a liaison became more defined, navigating not only language and diplomatic protocols but also the nuanced exchanges of cultural beliefs and practices. He found himself deeply involved in organizing joint scientific ventures, cultural exchanges, and educational programs. Inside the habitat, the air was filled with a subtle, unfamiliar fragrance, the temperature and lighting perfectly adjusted to accommodate the needs of both Earthlings and their guests. The interior was a convergence of design philosophies, with smooth, flowing lines and organic forms. Screens displayed continuous streams of data and visual media from both worlds, creating a backdrop of dual planetary histories converging in real time. During one of the daily briefings, Ilara introduced a concept that was revolutionary to Earth's scientists. We utilize what we call harmonic technology, tech that aligns with the natural frequencies of the universe. It promotes healing, growth, and energy efficiency, she explained, her voice echoing slightly in the circular meeting hall. Nathan watched as the delegation demonstrated the technology, using it to heal a plant that had been accidentally damaged during their arrival. The delegates placed the plant in the center of a device that hummed softly. Within minutes, the wilted leaves regained their vigor, standing tall and vibrant. This can be applied to many fields: medicine, agriculture, even environmental restoration, one of the delegates said, his tone enthusiastic but measured, aware of the Earth representatives' mixed expressions of skepticism and fascination. Nathan felt a swell of pride and wonder. The potential for such technology was vast, and while he understood the hesitation of his peers, fear of the unknown, the not invented here syndrome, he also saw the incredible opportunities for growth and healing. As days turned into weeks, public interest grew. Media coverage was incessant, the world eager to hear about every development, every shared meal and joint venture that occurred between the two civilizations. Nathan found himself occasionally before cameras, sharing updates, always mindful of the immense responsibility he carried. Ilara and Nathan often walked the grounds of the habitat during the quieter hours, discussing the challenges and milestones of their interstellar project. During one such walk, Ilara stopped by a viewing screen that displayed images of the cosmos. "Look at this, Nathan." She pointed to a cluster of stars, vibrant against the void. Each one could host life, stories waiting to be discovered. "What we're doing here, it's just the beginning." Nathan nodded, his gaze following her gesture. "It makes you think about what role we're supposed to play. Not just in our own lives but in the grand scheme of things." "Yes," Ilara agreed, her eyes reflective. "And how every action, every decision we make can ripple across the cosmos." Their conversations often drifted to philosophical realms, pondering existence, responsibility, and the future. It was during one of these discussions that Nathan realized how much he had changed. From a solitary guardian of a remote beacon to a key player in a cosmic dialogue, his life had expanded beyond any horizon he had once known. As the initial phase of the visit began to draw to a close, plans were laid for the next steps. The delegation proposed establishing a more permanent presence on Earth, a research and cultural exchange facility that would serve as a bridge between worlds. Nathan was at the forefront of these talks, advocating for a balanced approach that would benefit Earth while providing the necessary safeguards for both planets. The negotiations were intense, with political, scientific, and ethical considerations all in play. One evening, as the sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Nathan and Ilara stood watching the horizon from the habitat's observation deck. "Whatever comes next," Ilara said, her voice soft but resolute, "I believe the foundations we've built here are strong. This collaboration, it's bigger than any one of us. It's about all of us together." Nathan looked at her, the setting sun casting shadows that danced across her features. "And to think, it all started with a crash landing and a beacon." "Yes," she smiled, her eyes twinkling with the reflection of the twilight. "Sometimes, the most chaotic beginnings lead to the most meaningful paths." They turned their eyes back to the horizon, where the first stars of the evening were beginning to appear, a reminder of the vast, ever-expanding universe that awaited their further exploration and understanding. The work was far from over, but the journey thus far had proven that even the most distant stars could be reached when bridges were built not just of technology, but of trust and shared dreams. As the collaborative project between Earth and Ilara's people matured, the proposed research and cultural exchange facility, dubbed the Interstellar Harmony Center, began to take shape. It was to be located on a sprawling tract of land near the beacon, symbolizing the growth from a solitary point of contact to a hub of interspecies collaboration. Architectural designs were inspired by both human and alien aesthetics, creating a structure that was both a work of art and a fully functional research facility. Nathan found himself deeply involved in the planning and execution of the center. His insights into human culture and technology, combined with his understanding of Ilara's people's needs and capabilities, made him an invaluable asset. As construction began, he was often on site, overseeing the integration of advanced technologies that were gifts from the alien delegation. One of the most significant technologies was a climate adaptation system, capable of mimicking the environmental conditions of various parts of the universe. This system allowed for a diverse array of flora and fauna from Ilara's world to thrive alongside Earth's native species. Educational programs were designed around these exhibits, providing unparalleled learning opportunities about ecological balance and conservation. Amid the flurry of activity, Nathan's relationship with Alara deepened. They often discussed the philosophical implications of their work, exploring topics such as the nature of consciousness and the potential for sentient life throughout the galaxy. These discussions sometimes took place during walks through the partially constructed halls of the Harmony Center, amid the hum of machinery and the busy chatter of workers. One day, as they inspected a newly installed communication suite that would serve as the nerve center for interplanetary dialogue, Alara turned to Nathan with a contemplative look. "Do you ever wonder if we're ready for what's coming? If humanity is ready to be part of a larger cosmic community?" Nathan pondered her question, watching a team of technicians calibrate a holographic projector. "I think we'll always be catching up," he admitted. "But that's not a bad thing. Each step forward prepares us for the next. There's no perfect time for growth, there's only now." Alara nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Yes, the present is our only reality. Yet, I can't help but feel that what we are building here will echo through generations." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert from the communication suite. A technician called out to them, his voice a mix of excitement and urgency. "You'll want to see this," he said, gesturing for them to come over. As Nathan and Alara approached, the large screen flickered to life, displaying an incoming transmission from a distant part of the galaxy. The message was clear. Another civilization had received the signals sent by Alara's people and was responding. The symbols and language were unfamiliar, more complex than anything Nathan had seen. Alara's eyes widened with surprise and anticipation. "This is from beyond the known sectors of our exploration," she explained. "It's an entirely new contact." The implications were profound. This wasn't just a bilateral meeting between Earth and one other world, but a potential multilateral dialogue involving multiple civilizations. The Harmony Center, still under construction, was already living up to its name. In the weeks that followed, Nathan worked closely with Alara and her team to establish a preliminary understanding of the new alien language with the aid of advanced translation technologies. They prepared a response, one that would hopefully lead to a peaceful and productive exchange. As the Harmony Center neared completion, it became a symbol of hope and potential. Visitors from around the world and representatives from other worlds began to arrive, each eager to witness the inauguration of a facility that promised to be a beacon of interstellar peace and cooperation. On the day of the opening ceremony, Nathan stood beside Alara, overlooking a crowd of diverse beings, each different yet similar in their curiosity and desire for understanding. Cameras broadcast the event across planets, capturing the moment when Earth officially joined the cosmic community not as a silent observer but as an active participant. As Nathan watched the crowd, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment and wonder. What had started as a desperate survival mission had blossomed into an enterprise that might one day encompass multiple worlds and species. The possibilities were limitless, the future unwritten, and for the first time in human history, the stars were not just lights in the night sky but destinations and partners in the great dance of the cosmos. As the Interstellar Harmony Center celebrated its grand opening, the buzz of myriad languages filled the air, both human and extraterrestrial. The architecture of the facility, with its flowing lines and adaptive environments, stood as a testament to the collaboration it housed. Within its walls, delegations from different planets mingled, sharing insights and forging bonds under the banner of mutual respect and curiosity. Nathan stood beside Alara during the inauguration speeches, marveling at how the center had transformed from concept to cornerstone of a new interstellar paradigm. Dignitaries from various worlds took turns at the podium, each delivering messages of peace and cooperation. The ceremony was not only a cultural exchange but a pivotal moment in galactic diplomacy. As the speeches concluded, the crowd dispersed to explore the exhibits and laboratories that showcased the latest in technology and cultural artifacts from the participating worlds. Nathan and Alara walked through the facility, observing the interactions with a sense of pride and accomplishment. "It's more than I imagined," Nathan whispered to Alara as they watched a group of children, both human and alien, interacting with a holographic model of the galaxy. Seeing all these species together, learning from each other, it feels like we've sparked something irreversible. Ilara smiled, her eyes reflecting the holographic stars. We've ignited a beacon of hope, she agreed. This center is just the beginning. The dialogue we've started will grow, evolve, and perhaps one day, lead to a unified galactic community. Their walk took them to a quieter part of the center, a garden designed to accommodate life forms from various planetary environments. The garden was a blend of Earth's greenery with alien flora, creating a tapestry of colors and textures that was both alien and familiar. As they paused by a serene water feature, a gentle sound system mimicking the calming noises of distant waterfalls, Ilara turned to Nathan. "What will you do now?" she asked, her tone a mixture of curiosity and challenge. "Will you stay here, continue to oversee the center's growth?" Nathan considered her question, looking over the garden's exotic beauty. "I think my place is here for now," he said slowly. "There's still so much to learn, so many possibilities to explore. And I want to ensure that this place remains true to its purpose, not just a symbol, but a living, thriving forum for peace and understanding." Ilara nodded, her expression approving. "And what about us?" she asked softly, a hint of vulnerability in her voice that Nathan had come to recognize and cherish. He reached for her hand, an instinctive gesture that bridged the gap between their species. "We started this together, Ilara. I can't imagine continuing without you. Our work here isn't done, and honestly, I think our story isn't either." A smile broke across Ilara's face, radiant and filled with unspoken emotions. "Then let's promise to see this through," she said, squeezing his hand. "Together, not just for our worlds, but for all worlds that might join us in the future." The commitment sealed between them, Nathan and Ilara rejoined the festivities, their spirits buoyed by the shared vision of the future. As night fell, the center lit up with displays of light and energy that mirrored the stars above. Music and laughter echoed through the halls, a harmonious blend of earthly and alien joy. In the years that followed, the Interstellar Harmony Center became a beacon of galactic diplomacy and a hub of scientific and cultural exchange. Under Nathan and Ilara's guidance, it expanded, welcoming new species and civilizations into its fold. The initial dialogues that had started with tentative transmissions had blossomed into robust partnerships and treaties that spanned the stars. Nathan often found himself looking up at the night sky, reflecting on the journey that had brought him from solitude to the center of an interstellar dialogue. Beside him, Ilara would stand, her presence a constant reminder of the distances traversed and the connections made. Together, they watched the universe unfold, a vast and endless tapestry of possibilities, each star a story, each planet a promise. The future was a vast open field, ripe with potential, guided by the principles of harmony and understanding that they had championed from the very beginning.